we're sitting in a 24 Chevy, what is this, 2500 and 3500? 2500 with an 11,350 pound GVWR, so not too shabby. This is an L5P, and I'm just adjusting the mirrors, and I had to do the proverbial roll the seat all the way back to make room for my legs. I will say right away the steering wheel doesn't go up high enough for me. This is all the way up and all the way back. It's not high enough, but we want to take one for a test drive because there's nothing wrong with seeing what the other side makes. Check this out. That is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, that is awesome. Did you get that good on there? That is really cool. So, see how she does. Oh, feels like a truck. It does shake a lot more than my 6.7 does. You can feel it vibrating. Steering feels really tight, which is good. Feels very direct. Are these pedals moved all the way down? God, Lord, I feel like pedals move. I don't know. So we do have the 4-wheel drive adjustments on the driver's side with your left hand, which I'm not sure I'm as big a fan. And it could be because it's cold. When you start taking off, it's definitely a lot less abrupt, which is probably more comfortable for people, but I like when you get on the gas for it to go. Trip's nice. Feels just like Ford 10-speed. It is a little bit clunkier, I will say that. You feel those little bit sloppier shifts. Now, it could be because it's cold. This truck is, I mean, it's cold today. So is this. So this isn't even a mirror. This is literally a rear view camera. It's not even a mirror, it looks like. It's because it doesn't turn off.
Yeah.
That is wild.
That is wild.
That is really
That's
weird.
Crazy.
But it is a really nice view, unhindered by the back window, so that's pretty sweet. But what happens when that fails? I want to know how much one of those things costs. Well, it definitely comes up to speed nice. It amazingly drives exactly like my dad's 2012 Denali did back in the day. It seems to hug to the right. You can feel it wanting to go to the right. Some things don't change. But it is a really nicely pointed truck. Does it feel like everything's kind of sunk down a little bit low to you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like your infotainment and your dash and your steering wheel is all a lot lower than my Ford. So if you're a bigger person, I'm not sure that this is the best fitting thing for you because it seems to be made more for your 5'10", more average height guys as opposed to the tall, and even I would say an average height woman may even feel a little tight. Brakes feel really good. We're going to get out and check and see if they're Hydro Boost, but they definitely feel good. This truck only has 10 miles, so we're going to be extra nice to it. See the thing, here, pull the camera over here. Because I'm tall, the steering wheel is literally in the way of me seeing the dashboard. That's what I was saying about being able to put the steering wheel up higher. The steering wheel is literally like where I normally sit, and I'm not trying to eke myself around. It's definitely got some, feels good. It's definitely not as peppy as my 2019 6.7 was though. Which is probably accurate because they have very similar power ratings, if I'm not mistaken. It would be fun to hook a trailer to this. So the reason why we took this for a test drive is because I honestly do love trucks. I'm not only about one thing or one truck brand. I actually like all the brands. And if money grew on trees, I'd dabble in all of them. And we saw this one, and it was bright red, and you guys have already seen the pictures of how nice it looks. It's a good looking truck. So we thought we'd take it for a test drive and see, and this is a really good seat heater. Wow, let's turn that thing down. Trailer brake controller's right here. Obviously we have no way to find out how good the trailer brake controller is because we don't have a trailer on it, but I mean, seems good to me. It's all in the right spot. I do prefer having the 4-wheel drive switch over here, but your 4-wheel drive controls are over on the left, mostly because I drive with my left hand. I kind of like having my right hand to do 4-wheel drive selection. So, you know, that's probably just personal preference thing. But yeah, I kind of can't get over how low everything feels, and it's because I sit so high. My head is, I've got about 2 inches to the roof, and I'm looking through the top 4 inches of the windshield, It's definitely a little bit tighter fitting vehicle than the Ford and the Dodge. The Dodge is somewhere in the middle, I think. The Ford, I think, has the most headroom and body clearance room out of the three that I've felt. And I would like to test drive a brand new. I haven't driven a 24 Dodge, and I would like to. That's why we're out driving this, is because I'd like to test drive all of them. It's interesting to see where they go, but I will say this truck handles and rides a lot like I remember my dad's 2012 Denali HD riding. Very, very similar. We're going to go bring it to the freeway and see how it gets up to speed. I would never disrespect a truck by getting on it when it's so cold. Looks like our water temp is up to temp already, which is good. But I don't see any transmission temp gauges. You want to bring that around here, Hope?
Yeah.
The dashboard's kind of bare. It's all electric. I'm not sure I like that. But, what do we got here, fella? Make sure. Yep, you're good. We're good. Obviously, the handle's nice. Seems to have a pretty decent turning radius. We'll test that in a few minutes. See how she turns, see if it drives like my truck. The mirrors have great coverage. They're kind of weird because they mount so low, and they're kind of a monstrosity, kind of like a Hummer design, how they're mounted so low. But you do have a big notch over here where you can see out of. And the A-pillar on these does appear to be pretty small, so the outward view is actually pretty good. So if you're operating tight spaces, it might be pretty nice. Boy, the dash is just so low. Some speed, okay. Now, how are they doing the speed control on these new guys? You know, just a rocker button thing. Okay, so you got to enable the system and then turn it on and set. And then we can hit plus and get it back to 55. All right. So, how do we get up a transmission temp? Where do you control the dashboard? Right here, info page options, drive summary, trip 2, timer, tire pressure, driver assistance, don't want that, oil life, brake pad life, that's nice, air filter, fuel filter life, that's good, diesel exhaust fluid. So the truck just jammed on the brakes because the guy was over here, if I'm not mistaken, way off the side of the road. So that's why I don't like these driver assistance things. They're pretty poorly designed. How do we do this? Vehicle? Would that be vehicle? Nope, that's radio. Left side, lower gauges, display layout, classic, progressive, digital, clean. Is there one that says gauges? I don't know about you, but I want to see some gauges. Options, info, speed, tire pressure, fuel economy. Can we get some off-road engine hours? So off-road, that's probably cool, but I kind of would like to see some gauges, guys. Let's see here. Well, I'm not sure we're going to be successful at this given time. Definitely seems to be more focused on less information is more, and I like seeing my gauges, so I'm not sure about that. We'll look and see if we can find some more info. Definitely handles nice, if you give them that. Doesn't really handle any differently than my truck, but it certainly doesn't handle worse or anything. It feels great. The nice little corners we have here. About the one curvy road in the entire area. What do you think, Pat? Are you comfortable in the passenger seat?
I think it's very comfortable. I like this too.
I would say if you want to swing the camera, I like the wood grain. If you want to swing the camera, it's definitely a really classy truck. When we saw this fire engine red color, it was definitely a real eye opener. There's plenty of room in the back seat for your kids, that's for sure. There's no problem. There's gonna be no problem throwing 2-3 car seats back there. Are there hooks? Yep, looks like we got anchor hooks for your car seats, for your infant seats. So I would say your infant bases. So I'd say you're in pretty good shape on your car seats. I like it. We're gonna go get on the freeway. I almost feel bad. Well, we've only gone 5 miles. Alright, so slight amendment. We did find out that the seat does actually go down a little bit farther. So now I have actually pretty good. Now we're up to maybe 3.5 inches of clearance. And now I can see the gauges better, and the steering wheel feels better. So I hit a false wall, I guess you might say, when I tried to put it down and didn't go. Well, it turns out you just had to move it a little bit more and it would go down. So we do have the seat down now, and it is quite comfortable. It's a really nice driving truck. I can definitely see it.
It's really comfy.
Yeah.
Driving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it drives well. It drives nice. Steering feels great. Brakes feel really good. We're going to find a place to take pictures of it, because what's the point of watching a YouTube video if you can't see pictures of the truck? I think this is a very attractive combination, because I don't like chrome. This truck has very little chrome on it. It's blacked out in all the places it needs to be blacked out. It's got beautiful red where it needs to have red. Just a good looking truck. Definitely a great looking truck. So let's go try and find a place to take some pictures of the old girl. I will say, when I stepped on the side side bed steps, they're definitely a lot weaker feeling than the Ford version. And that was, I think, something that people said right away, is the steps were kind of weak on the GM trucks. I do like the piano black. I've always liked the piano black look. When the CTS-V Gen 2 came out back in, what was that, 09, I think is when the Gen 2 came out, the second generation CTS-V. It had the piano black dash, and I remember that being like a main thing that I was like, wow, that is a beautiful interior. And this for it, given it's a truck. Now this truck, out the door, looks to be $75,280 with our employee discount. And the total with the employee discount applied was $670.97 looks like. So this truck's MSRP was like $78,900 or something like that. So I mean, it's a fairly well trimmed truck. We got a little bit of bar up. We got leather seats. We have wood grain dash, piano black dash, heated seats, dual climate. It's a great truck. I mean, I could definitely see why someone would be quite happy in this truck. I would definitely say that the L5P isn't doing anything that the 6.7 isn't doing, but it drives really nice. What do we got here for fuel economy? I do not like this dash layout. This is terrible compared to before. It's pretty bad. But let's reset this here. Let's reset it, because that's what it shows. Wait, so how do you reset it now?
Probably can't.
No, you ought to be able to. Oh, that's drive summary. So maybe we need to go to trip meter. Yeah, this is very unintuitive. So I don't want adaptive cruise, but definitely much different. Are you sure you want to reset? Yes. Let's see what trip. Hopefully we don't have to stop anytime soon. We're going to see what this thing's getting. Just kind of instant. Obviously, you can't bank too much on it, because you need to really see 20, 30, 40 miles of fuel economy to really put your hat on it. But we're set at 55. It is cold today, so 22.1. Let's see what it does. 21. We're doing exactly 55. So probably in a zip code of what the 10-speed 6.7s are doing. Now we do have a little bit of wind, and we are driving into the wind, it appears. So, probably about what the 6.7's doing. We'll step on it here and see how she does once we get to the stop sign. Definitely a nice truck. Turn signal does normal turn signal things. You do have an above glove compartment, which is pretty small. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
With how big this is.
Yeah, for how big the cover is, it's pretty darn small. So. Not too bad. It literally feels just like my stock 2019 did. There is a lot of torque you can feel when it shifts, how much power gets cut, and then how much the power comes back in once it gets into gear. It definitely has a huge power cut as it shifts. But it feels really good. It sounds nice. I don't know if you guys could hear that. I think it sounded pretty good. I dig it. If you're into GMs, I think that you're in pretty good shape in terms of a truck available to you to buy. definitely don't think that I would opt to buy this over a 6.7 Power Stroke. In terms of like, if I was simply shopping between the two, I would definitely buy a 6.7 Power Stroke. I would say that this one is going to compare to the standard output 6.7 Power Stroke really well. The HO Power Stroke is going to wipe the floor with it. It's not even going to be in the same league. What we could find here is the exhaust brake. Now granted, we're on tow haul, and I'm not sure I've figured out how to put it in a tow haul yet. Where's the exhaust brake button? Exhaust brake. So exhaust brake's on. How do we put it in tow haul? It's not in the stick anymore. I don't know. Let's see how it does. You can feel it working. If it was in tow haul, I'm sure it's going to do a better job. I mean, it's definitely working. It's not. I would say it definitely isn't ripping out of your seat. But like I said, there might be higher modes of the exhaust brake when you're in tow haul than it is right now. I would say that that's definitely not ripping you out of your seat, but it certainly isn't bad. Oh, shoot. I was going to take pictures of this one, girl. Yeah, let's go do that right now. Yeah, the throttle's kind of numb when you first get on it. And then it comes to life. I think it has a lot to do with the engine itself before it makes boost, isn't making a whole lot of torque. Where I'm kind of used to it with the 6.7, it has pretty good out of boost performance. And then, of course, when the boost comes on, obviously you have a lot more. But when you get on it, it's kind of numb. But I really like it. Like I said, I wouldn't choose to buy this probably over a 6.7 if you're buying it for maximum towing purposes. But if you wanted to buy it because you like the look of the truck, or you just liked it and you wanted to daily drive it and tow whatever you want to tow within the truck's rating and all that kind of stuff, I'm sure it'd be awesome. But if you guys are shopping side by side, I think you really need to go test drive a 6.7 Power Stroke, because I think the 6.7's got it nicked in quite a few places. If you were just looking at strictly performance, this truck has a really unique appearance that you can't get with any other brand. And if that appearance is something that is really attractive to you, then you may want to look at trying one. Think so? I think it'd be good for a family. Good back seat.
Yeah, the back seat.
And the occupant compartment, retracting what I said before, I fit pretty good. Now I will say it's a little tighter between the door and the center console than say a Ford, but the center console does look wider, so it looks like maybe they're giving you a little bit more console. Maybe it's a little bit wider. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. I would say the door skins are pretty skinny, so I'm not sure the width is coming from the door skins. The doors are nice and skinny. I think it might just be the overall width of the truck, maybe a smidgen. It does feel a little bit smaller when you just look at the window to window. It feels like it might be a little bit smaller here. But with the seat all the way down, I'm comfortable. But keep in mind, if you're 6'2", you're gonna be seat all the way down, seat all the way back. Unless you're crazy. I got one of my buddies insists on driving right up to the steering wheel. He's almost as tall as I am, and he's like right up on top of the steering wheel. I don't even know how he does that, to be honest with you. It feels so horrible, uncomfortable. But yeah, we'll go take some pictures of it. We'll look at its exterior features and see what it looks like. I'm assuming it's going to look a lot like any GMT 900, K2XX. All those generations, I doubt they've changed very much in the frame or the front suspension. It is a little bit bumpy here. And you definitely don't get away from the pavement heaves when you're in IFS. This truck rides just like my F350 does. It's very similar. But it rides like a truck. It rides nice. I like it. There's no lights I'm being brought up on or reminded or said here for you ladies doing your makeup. There's no light on there. Does my Ford have a light? No? Okay. My Ford is also a base model truck. My old one, my Lariat did. Evidently. I wouldn't know that, so it's important to have a woman's perspective. Evidently, my Lariat in 2019 did have a light for the makeup window. Or the makeup mirror. I did not know that. I would never have noticed. So good call. This truck does not have a sunroof, which I prefer. I would not buy a sunroof ever again in any vehicle. I had one on my 2019, and it was utterly pointless and useless. So I'm glad to see this truck doesn't have a sunroof. It is definitely a good-looking truck. That looks like private property. We'll have to go find somewhere to take a picture of it. In fact, what we're going to do too is we're going to go to a parking lot and take pictures of it and see how it parks too. So stay tuned for that. So it appears that this thing, when you turn the little thing that you usually use to dim it, it turns on the rear view camera. And when you tip that switch back, you're back to mirror function. That's a little different.
I like it.
Well, why do they make it tip in order to turn on? Like, they could just make it so it doesn't tip. See, it does actually tip like it's... Oh, you know why they do that is for glare. So the glare, they do it for glare anyway with the mirror, but you're still going to have glare with the video screen. So that's why they do it right there. All right. That trailer hitch looks obviously very easy to hook up. It's definitely out where you can get to it. Bumper is hanging down around it. Whoops, I was off to the side a little bit. Looks really nice. It's easy to deal with. Well done. What we got here? These are going to be probably for your trailer. Oh, the cameras. Now I will say, I don't see that this truck has the little connector for your trailers that don't have trailer brakes. I think that's kind of a unfortunate oversight. That's one thing I use all the time with my truck is the smaller connector for trailers that don't have brakes. Okay. I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm clicking something, but it's not doing anything. Oh, there we go. It's just tight. So that's the step that folds down. Huh. Interesting. What does that do? Oh, it's a handle? Huh. There's quite a few features in here that are kind of not intuitive. What does the top one do? Does that lock it? Hopefully that wasn't a lock button. No, it's not locked, thank God. All right, let's see this back seat. Plenty of room. Nice cup holders, they'll do the job. Normal depth fill. What do you guys think of these wheels? They're kind of big. So BF Goodrich, what is this called? All-Terrain TA KO3. Oh, this is the new KO3. Oh, they look interesting. No overloads in this truck, it looks like. No overload springs. Love the black door handles. What do we got here? 3,095 pounds of payload. Not too bad for a 3/4 ton diesel. Not too shabby. A couple cup holders. A couple more over there. A couple more right there. Let's see what she's got under the hood in terms of, does this thing have Hydro Boost or not? What are we looking at? I would say it's got Hydro Boost. Looks like a Hydro Boost unit way down in there. So it looks like we do have an air scoop that comes through the hood. That's pretty cool. I dig that. It's awesome. We got Hydro Boost. Engine looks pretty easy to get to. Definitely uncluttered. Looks really nice. Well, guys, that was a quick review of a 2024 2500 HD Chevy. A pretty nice little truck. Now, one thing to close out on, just because this is commonly misconceptioned. The Allison badge is a badge for badge sake. It's not actually an Allison transmission. This is the GM Ford Joint 10-speed that GM chose to make some changes on. It has a different valve body and some different parts on inside the transmission. It is a Ford GM transmission. It is not an Allison transmission. It isn't built by Allison. It wasn't designed by Allison. Supposedly Allison is the one who recommended the valve body change. And if you should watch the Randy's transmission video if you're into diesel performance at all. You should watch the Randy's transmission video on the comparing the Ford 10-speed versus the GM 10-speed. It's an important, you should know, not from me, from people who are experts in transmissions, the differences in the two. So go check out that video. It is on YouTube. If you search Randy's transmission, Ford versus GM 10-speed, should come up. Yeah, looks pretty good. Good looking truck, factory bed liner, factory fifth wheel prep. This is a nice truck. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. So one last important point, we have a USB-C and a regular USB. Wireless charger down here. Looks like a USB-C and a USB in here and a 120 volt plug.
Very nice size.
What's this?
USB.
Another USB. So the back of it right there, another USB. Pretty nice compartment. You got a big flat open area. I will say, who wants to have that in their pocket? I'm not sure about that. Yeah, it's like the whole state of Georgia. It look like this. It's a whole freaking state of Georgia pocket, guys. I don't know about that one. I think we could make some more streamlined clickers. I feel like someone designed it in someone's hand like this, but you don't walk around carrying your clicker. But anyway, yeah. So, last couple thoughts. Thank you all.